Hello and welcome back to our Sydney Proactive studio. Joining us today is James Chirnside. He's the Chairman and Managing Director of Dart Mining. Lovely to see you here today, James. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks very much for having me.
Now, this is the first time that you've appeared on our network. For those who are not familiar with your company, can you just start off by telling us a little bit about your company and what you specialise in?
Sure. We're an exploration company. We hold tenements, approximately 3,500 square kilometres of ground up in northeast Victoria. It's mostly mountainous. We've got some ground over at Rushworth, which is out in the plains, but mostly mountainous, orogenic, multi or polymetallic deposits is what we're looking for.
Fantastic. And you actually, I understand, have a diverse portfolio in what you do as well, from where you started to where you are now and also where you're heading in the future. Well,
yes, we've sort of come full circle in a way. The company's probably better known historically for its Mount Unicorn molybdenum discovery in 2008. The Mount Unicorn moly deposit is a very large one. It's probably ranked around number 6 in the world in terms of contained molybdenum. From there, the moly price in 2010 collapsed, and actually in 2015 was the worst performing metal in the world, and it be from peak to trough, it fell around 90% in value. So that sort of shelved the Mount Unicorn molybdenum deposit for development purposes. We then in 2016 discovered the first lithium pegmatites on the east coast of Australia, and we've been exploring those and searching out a very large area, roughly 60 kilometres by about 15. There's around 3,000 pegmatites there, and we're just moving that along as best we can, although our focus now is very much back onto gold, which is where the company started.
Really exciting, and I'll get on to that in a little while, but just let's kick off with the latest news that you've just successfully completed a recent capital raising. Tell us about the amount raised, how it was raised, and how you intend to use the funds.
Right, well, yes, we've raised actually a relatively small amount of money, about $320,000. The purpose of that is really to keep our progress in the field on what we call the Buckland Gold Project. Buckland Gold Project is our number one focus at the moment. We can talk about the deposit style and whatever a bit further down the track, sure, if you like. Yep. But the proceeds will be used to further gain knowledge through exploration activities, mostly geochemical now, but we expect to start drilling there or start resuming drilling down there in December this year. Yeah,
great news. And as we just said, that is the new focus for the company. So moving forward, you've reported to the market that you're exploring the Fairleys shear zone that looks to extend more than 8.5 kilometres, and that's the Buckland Gold Project, your new focus. Can you tell us about the style of mineralisation, as you mentioned earlier before, and what the historic results are indicating to you?
Well, the area, the Buckland area, is a watershed. The Ovens River and the Buckland River both run through there. Historically, they were dredged and mined, and still are actually, panned for alluvial gold. The significant amounts of alluvial have been extracted from there. The Fairleys shear zone, which is what we call the Buckland Gold Project, is around at least 8.5 kilometres in strike, around multiple shear zones across around a 400-metre width. So it's very large. It's very exciting. We still need to do a great deal more work on it. We have some understanding of where the mineralisation is going to in terms of depth, but we need to understand a heck of a lot more about that. And that's what we're focused on at the moment every day.
And it's a good timing, isn't it? There's so much positivity around gold at the moment, so it's a good time to get into that again.
Well, gold has been extraordinary. $1 gold has been an extraordinary business to be in for the last 5 years, probably, maybe 4 years. We've seen $1 gold move from $1,400 an ounce to a high recently at $22.80. Sorry. It's pulled back actually in the last few days. That's a combination of strength in US dollar gold price and obviously a fairly large downward move in the Australian dollar.
Still, yeah, no, it's still a good time to be there. Just back to the project, what modern techniques is DART using to explore this mineralisation, and what are you learning about the ore body?
Well, historically, there's a number of different old workings, small mines, that were ratted out by what we call the old boys, the old timers, back in the 19th and early 20th century. As I mentioned before, there was a lot of alluvial gold taken out, but there was also quite a bit of high grade. The problems that they ran into then up in that part of the world were typically water, groundwater, and so it was difficult for them to get, very deep. The sulfidic gold, and there's some of that up there, they weren't able to extract. So modern processing techniques, as well as modern exploration techniques, have brought this project and many others up in that part of the world back into the frame, and yeah, we're going very hard at it.
Now, I believe historically the region produced hundreds of thousands of ounces of gold from large-scale dredging operations in the past. It's got historical. It's got historical
Yes.
evidence in its favour, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Why has it taken so long for modern exploration to come back to the Buckland and surrounding historic gold mining areas there?
Yeah, well, look, we've held the ground there for quite a long time, but DART actually historically, we did have some challenges, which we've pushed through all of those. We're now got a clean sail, clean wind, and capital, and a wherewithal. So we've actually held the ground down there for quite a long time. It's only in the last 18 months, 2 years, that we've started to do a lot more work on it. There was work done on it by DART back in 2014. There was some drilling done, but of course prices were a lot lower then for gold. With the $1 at parity against the US, the gold price didn't look that great. But it's improved a heck of a lot. That's spurred us on. But equally, across the whole of Victoria, there is a huge amount of exploration and development activity happening in various mines. A lot of that has been encouraged by the successes over at Fosterville, which is a mine owned by Kirkland Lake Gold. Fosterville is an extraordinary mine, and literally one of the best in the world. This year, I think their guidance is for about 600,000 ounces production for 2019. That was against 356,000 ounces last year. They will not be mining any additional tonnage. So what's happening on that deposit is the deeper they go, the higher the grade, and so they're pulling more gold per tonne. And it's just a fairy tale gold deposit. But it has spurred a lot of activity and a lot of interest in Victoria, so much so that some of the mining majors are starting to peg ground in Victoria now that have never ever been there. And the rationale around Victoria generally is that it hasn't been properly explored for a long, in contemporary times using contemporary methods. And that's the thing that's driving the activity there. It's hard for people, unless you're involved in it, to imagine just how frenetic the activity down there is at the moment.
And it sounds like that could all be in its favour, though, giving that break, find all these little surprises everywhere from just the, the resting time, isn't it?
Yes, no, that's right. I mean, DART's actually we have our footprint on 9 historic gold fields. And, one of the best indicators of a potential gold mine is historic workings. And the old timers were very, very good at finding gold, and they were very good at extracting it given the harsh conditions and limited capital and limited techniques, limited technology. So technology is now playing a really big role in extraction, particularly in the metallurgy.
100%, yeah, it's making a big difference. Now, just finally, what are the near-term activities and news flow that shareholders should be looking out for in the coming months for your company?
Well, as I mentioned, we have a team in the field every day at the moment, and I think on the Buckland project we've taken over 2,000 soil samples. We use a portable XRF for testing them. We send some of those samples off to the labs for assay to confirm the readings that we're getting out of our XRF processing. And there's more of that to happen. What we're trying to do now is narrow down some of the higher grade areas along strike with a view in December to start drilling them out and understanding the depth of mineralisation. So along that 8.5 kilometres, you've got pods of super high grade deposits as well. Some of which we've had 80 grams per tonne type hits on a few of the old workings. So that combined with the halo associated or the disseminated gold, which is really what we're looking for, which is much lesser grade but many more tonnes. Those two combined for us at the moment look very positive in terms of getting to a mine development stage.
Well, we would love to follow your progress, so we hope you keep in touch with us to let us know how it all unfolds. But for today, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. That's James Chirnside from Dart Mining.